Hey there, it's that Nick. This is a video I've been thinking about making for a while, and I just hadn't done it yet, hadn't, caught my attention enough into it. It's something that seriously bothers me. It's definitely not in the video game realm, but it's something that I think needs to be brought to light. I am a big 2A enthusiast. I have plenty of firearms. I train with those firearms. They're kitted out, equipped with different functions and features. They each serve a purpose, they each serve a role. I am extremely responsible with how I treat them around my children. They all get the walkthrough anytime one of them brings somebody over to the house. They get the same walkthrough. They get told a little brief chunk of gun safety, make sure everything's up, just in case something happens, something's down, something's whatever, it doesn't matter. Fact of the matter is, we are very responsible firearm owners. So, that brings me to the thing that keeps me up at night. I am from California. I have family that now lives in Illinois. I do not live in California or Illinois at this point. It is a red area that I'm in. Very red area in Oklahoma. And I like it that way. It lets me do what I want to do without a whole lot of backlash. Firearms have become a very big part of my life. I'm even, seeking out FFL, SOT, all of that, so that I could start going into a business working with that. And then that's kind of the content I want to start making in the future. Video games are cool and all, but it's not something that brings me the same kind of passion it brought me when I was younger. So that brings me to the concern. I'm sick of my rights being trampled. Now, here in Oklahoma, whole different story. Obviously, you've got the NFA, and they're starting to make different things right now with ATF, which I absolutely appreciate. I'm absolutely looking forward to things like that. The ability to travel across state lines with your firearm and so on and so forth. However, they still have restrictions, such as in California, your ammunition needs to be completely separated from the firearm, and the firearm needs to be in a locked container, and I believe your glove box doesn't count. There's a whole bunch of stuff involved with that. But right now, and what I constantly think about, is the potential for me to travel and visit my brother in Illinois. Every single firearm I own is legal. Every single one of them has been gotten legally. Every single one of them has been gotten with a background check. I have things that I got just because I thought it was hilarious or ridiculous. And it blows my mind that I could be somebody who responsibly carries every single day. I always have a firearm on me. There's a firearm within my vicinity most of the time, if it's not immediately on my person. Depends on the last time I went to the bathroom, whatever. That said, as soon as I cross into Illinois, if I've got that gun on me, because I don't have a concealed carry permit, felony carry. Completely legal. The Second Amendment says the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. But as soon as I pass into Illinois, felony. And not only that, because they've got what's called PICA or whatever you want to call it, PICA, it's this broad, sweeping anti-weapons bill that they put out. Like no AKs, no ARs, no shotguns over a certain amount of rounds held, so on and so forth. They also restricted the round sizes that you can hold inside of magazines. So I believe handguns are 15 and rifles are 10 round maximum. So if I were to cross into Illinois, felony. If I have this magazine on me, enhancement. Now, because I don't have a FOID card, every single round of ammunition starts at a misdemeanor with a $2,500 and or 1 year in jail term, which can be escalated up to a felony level 2, I believe, for subsequent offenses. Or let's say I was carrying a firearm that had this in it and I didn't have a concealed carry or a FOID card. They could, this is 33 round magazine, felony, 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 felony. I am a family man. I am firearms enthusiast. I do everything legally. In states like Illinois, New York, California, Hawaii, now Colorado, North Carolina. I believe North Carolina has open carry, but you need a permit for concealed. South Carolina needs a permit for concealed. Any one of these places that I go, I can now be charged with unlawful possession of a weapon. Now, let's say we're just driving through Illinois. Let's say I'm going to meet my brother in Indiana because he wants to go watch a NASCAR or something. Who knows? Wife's driving. I fall asleep in the car. We're going through. She doesn't bother waking me because it's not worth it. It's like a 4-hour drive, I believe, from the west side to the east side of Illinois. Let's say she gets pulled over halfway through it and I still have my firearm on me. Let's say the cop walks up to that window and happens to see it on my side for some reason, or sees it in the door, sees it whatever. I'm going to jail for a felony, even though it has been deemed unconstitutional by 3 lower courts, and they have just decided to ignore it for the higher courts. That's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that my freedom could be taken for this. Or because I am exercising my right to bear arms. Now, what's funny is, you could go to Chicago, and you're going to find somebody with an unserialized Glock that has one of these magazines in it, 33 rounds, and they've got what's called a switch, which is a 3D printed device that you stick on the back of the Glock to make it automatic, and they're just going to continue to kill each other, or shoot at each other, or threaten who knows what and who knows where. If Illinois had their way, and this might even be a stretch because it could be considered semi-automatic, this is all I'd get. This is a 5-round, empty revolver. And I have speed loaders that I've gotten down to, I don't know. It's not as fast as a magazine, but I can do it pretty quick. I practice with everything that I own because that's important. I can get it down to very little period of time. So I could have, if I got 2 speed loaders on me and I have this thing full, I got 15 shots. But some little person in Chicago is going to illegally have 33 shots. And if the recent case proves anything, somebody threatened somebody else with a gun in Illinois, that person shot at the people that boxed him inside the parking lot after he tried to leave when he disengaged from the situation. The judge ruled that the shoot was valid, but they still gave him a penalty because he didn't have a concealed carry permit. So because he used a firearm and was deemed correct in protecting his own life, he still has a felony. He can no longer own a gun in the eyes of the federal government now. And the people that, threatened him with an implied firearm to begin with, I mean, I'm not sure which one of them, I think one of them passed away, but they didn't care. Do you think they were carrying legally? Who knows? So when you go up against somebody, if I'm out in Illinois and I'm just, I just want to go down the street and, what's it, Crunkle? I don't know what it's called. There's some smash burger places out there. I could be attacked by somebody with a gun who's got it illegally, and if I have my gun, which is completely legal, but I don't have the permitting from Illinois, even though I'm not from Illinois, I go to prison with a felony, lose my rights. The alternative is I lose my life, or my kids get hurt, or my wife gets hurt, or worse. Something's got to change. The fact that judges can just kind of ignore this thing, or that judges can, especially after like Heller and other rulings like that, the fact that judges can just ignore this is insane to me. And I don't understand how this kind of thing doesn't get called out. And this goes all the way up to SCOTUS. There have been numerous cases presented to the Supreme Court that the Supreme Court has just let sit. They're doing nothing. So, it bothers me because I have two choices anytime I go to visit family in either California or Illinois. And that is set myself up to be a victim or set myself up to be a felon. And that's not right. That should never be right. That should never exist how it exists right now. I get constant streams of buybacks and people getting pulled over and stopped with bullets, or with, some of them have airsoft guns and they're still getting picked up for this. There was even a raid that occurred outside of the Chicago area. They had suspicion that somebody was doing something illegal. They got a warrant. They raided them with SWAT and 2 other departments, found nothing, but what they did find was 38 rounds of ammunition. And so they arrested him and charged him with 4 misdemeanors. 4 misdemeanors. Because he had 38 rounds of ammunition. That's 33. Every one of my AR mags has 30 in it. I could literally go to jail as if I murdered 100 people just by having ammunition in the state of Illinois without a card that has been ruled unconstitutional, FOID card that's been ruled unconstitutional by 3 different cases and 3 different judges that the Circuit Court of Appeals decided didn't stand, and they just don't care. Anyways, I'll probably end up out there visiting at some point anyways. And I'm probably going to be the good little boy and stash my shit in the trunk and just have it when I'm at my brother's house or something. I don't know. The fact that this exists how it exists is absolutely absurd. And something needs to change. I mean, you have to keep in mind that you're destroying lives. And the people who you are getting this inspiration from don't care about the law. They don't care about the FOID card. The guy that shot the other guy in the parking lot, he didn't have a CCW, but he still had a gun, so he gets to get a felony, but he's alive. You have to trade your freedom or your life. And I think every single person who has been brought up on this, who has voted for this kind of thing, they need to get it together. They need to understand what's happening to them. You need to take your state back. Because until you do, you're nothing more than a criminal waiting to happen. Anyways, that's all I got to say about it for right now. I'm not there yet anyways. So it doesn't really matter much right now. It just bothers me that this kind of instance can just occur. It bothers me that I could spend the rest of my life in jail for this when I have a constitutional right to have it. Anyways, until next time, take it easy.